You think time could just pause? Like someone pressing a cosmic pause button. Everything freezes. 1 second passes on some universal clock. Then everything resumes. Most people imagine this easily. They've seen it in movies. They picture themselves frozen mid-step, a bird suspended in air, light hanging motionless between the sun and their eyes. But that confidence is exactly the problem. Because if you actually understood what time is, not what you call it, but what it actually does to the fabric of reality, you would know that this innocent thought experiment hides something far more disturbing. What if I told you that stopping time for 1 second wouldn't just freeze everything? It would annihilate it. Think about that. Let's start somewhere safe. You're walking down the street. The sun is overhead. You feel its warmth on your skin. You see the light reflecting off the pavement. You hear sounds. You feel motion. The world feels solid, continuous, predictable. Time seems to flow like a river. Smooth, steady, always moving forward at the same rate for everyone. You look at your watch. 1 second passes, then another. Each second feels identical. You assume everyone else experiences the same second you just did. Your friend across town, someone on a plane, an astronaut in orbit. One universal now, ticking forward together. This is what intuition tells you. This is what common sense promises. This is what every single moment of your lived experience seems to confirm. And for thousands of years, the greatest minds in human history believed exactly this. In the late 1800s, something strange started happening. Scientists were studying light, not philosophically, practically. They wanted to know, how fast does it move? Simple question. They measured it. Different people, different methods, different conditions, moving toward the light source, moving away from it, measuring light from distant stars as Earth orbited the sun, sometimes moving toward those stars, sometimes away, and every single time, the same speed, exactly the same. This should bother you, because everything else in your experience adds and subtracts speeds. You're on a train moving 50 miles per hour. You throw a ball forward at 20 miles per hour. Someone standing still sees that ball moving at 70. You throw it backward. They see it moving at 30. Speeds add, speeds subtract. This is obvious. This is intuitive. This is how motion works. Except light doesn't do this. You shine a flashlight while standing still. Light moves at 186,000 miles per second. You measure it. Confirmed. You shine that same flashlight while running forward as fast as you can. You measure the light again. 186,000 miles per second. Exactly the same. You shine it from a spaceship moving at half the speed of light itself. Still 186,000 miles per second. The light doesn't care how fast you're moving. It refuses to add your speed to its own. It refuses to subtract. It simply moves at the same speed, always, for everyone, under every condition, no matter what. Scientists noticed something was wrong. Now, here's where most people expect the story to go. And then Einstein came along and solved everything. But that's not what happened. What happened was stranger and more inevitable. Because scientists didn't just shrug and say, light is weird. They took this bizarre observation and asked a different question. What if light isn't weird? What if light is right? What if the thing that's broken is everything else we believe about reality? They started with something they trusted completely. One of the most fundamental laws in physics, the laws of electromagnetism, Maxwell's equations. These weren't guesses. They were tested, proven, used to build telegraphs, generators, motors. They worked perfectly. And buried inside these equations was a prediction, a number, a constant. The speed of light in a vacuum. Not the speed of light if you're standing still. Not the speed of light depending on your motion. Just the speed of light. One number, the same for everyone. The equations didn't allow for anything else. So scientists had a choice. Either Maxwell's equations, which built the modern world, were wrong, or something else was wrong, something deeper, something about time itself. This wasn't a theory anymore. This was a logical avalanche. If the speed of light is truly constant for everyone, then there is only one possible explanation. Time cannot be universal. Let me say that again, because this is the part most people miss. If light always moves at the same speed for you, and for me, and for someone flying past us at near light speed, then we cannot be experiencing the same time. Your second and my second cannot be identical, because speed is distance divided by time. If the speed stays constant, but our motions are different, then time itself must be different for each of us. Your clock and my clock are not ticking at the same rate. They can't be. The universe won't let them. This should break your brain. You think 1 second is 1 second. Everywhere. Always. For everyone. But it's not. When you're standing still, 1 second passes. When you're moving, less time passes. Not because your watch is broken. Not because you're confused. But because time itself, actual, physical time, is moving slower for you than for someone who's standing still. This isn't metaphor. This isn't philosophy. This is measurement. Atomic clocks flown on airplanes tick slower than identical clocks left on the ground. Not by much. Billionths of a second. But measurably. Predictably. Exactly as the math says they should. GPS satellites orbit Earth at high speed. Their clocks run slower than ours. If we didn't correct for this, your navigation would be off by miles within hours. Particles created in accelerators live longer, from our perspective, than they should, because time is moving slower for them as they race near light speed. This is tested, confirmed, built into the technology you use every single day. Time is not universal. There is no cosmic now. There is no single moment that everyone shares. So let's go back to the thought experiment. What happens if time stops for 1 second? You're already starting to see the problem, aren't you? Stopped for whom? Because there is no universal clock. There is no privileged reference frame. There is no absolute time that everything else is measured against. Time is local, personal, relative to motion and gravity. Your time, my time, the Earth's time, the Sun's time, a distant galaxy's time. All different, all equally valid, none more real than any other. So when you say, time stops for 1 second, you have to answer, stops according to which clock? Measured by whom? Relative to what? But let's ignore that for now. Let's say you somehow manage to stop time everywhere. Every clock, every motion, every process, every particle. Complete universal freeze. Here's what you need to understand. Time is not a thing that flows through the universe like a river through a landscape. Time is change, not metaphorically, literally. When physicists talk about time, they mean the progression of states, the sequence of cause and effect, the transformation of energy from one form to another, the decay of particles, the vibration of atoms, the firing of neurons, the beating of your heart. All of this is time. Time is not separate from these processes. Time is these processes. So if you stop time, truly stop it, you stop all change. Atoms stop vibrating, electrons stop orbiting, light stops propagating, chemical reactions stop, biological processes stop, thoughts stop. Not frozen in place like a paused video. Because even a paused video has structure, has potential, has stored energy ready to resume. No. If time stops, nothing can happen. No process can proceed. No cause can lead to effect. No change of any kind. The universe doesn't go dark. Darkness implies absence. An absence you could measure, could compare, could experience. But experience requires time. If time stops, there is no experience, no observation, no during, no awareness that time has stopped, no waiting for it to restart. Because all of those things require time to occur. You see the trap now? You can't have stopped time and still have a universe that could restart. Because restarting is a change, a transition from one state to another. And change requires time. If time stops, it stops forever. Not because a second passes and then more, but because passing is time. Then is time. After is time. There is no after. There is no then. There is only a terminal, eternal, meaningless now, with no structure and no possibility of anything ever happening again. This is not a technological limitation. The universe itself prevents this. There's a wall, not made of matter or energy, made of logic, made of the very structure of causality. Time cannot stop for 1 second because 1 second is a measurement of time. You're asking, what if time stopped for a duration of time? The question annihilates itself, but here's what's truly unsettling. This isn't really about time stopping. That's just a thought experiment, a way to poke at the edges of understanding. The real horror is what this reveals about time itself. Time is not what you think it is. You experience it as a flow, a river, a dimension you move through helplessly, at 1 second per second. But that's not what time is. Time is what the universe uses to keep everything from happening at once. It's a relationship between events, a structure that allows causality, a framework that connects before to after. And here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. Time doesn't flow at the same rate everywhere. Gravity slows it down. Motion slows it down. You are aging slower than someone standing at sea level when you're on a mountain. Not by much. Billionths of a second over a lifetime. But measurably. GPS satellites age faster than us because they're farther from Earth's gravitational well. They have to be programmed to slow their clocks down artificially, or they'd drift out of sync. If you fell toward a black hole, time would slow for you relative to someone watching from far away. From your perspective, you'd fall in normally. From their perspective, you'd slow down, asymptotically approaching the event horizon, never quite crossing. Your image red-shifted and frozen. Two equally valid perspectives. Two completely different experiences of time. Both true, both real. Richard Feynman understood this better than almost anyone. He had a way of cutting through the mathematics to the raw strangeness underneath. He once said, "We have no reason to believe that time is symmetrical." Think about that. Every law of physics, almost every single one, works the same forward and backward in time. You can reverse the equations, reverse the motion, and they still work. But you can't actually do this with the universe. You can't unbreak a glass. You can't unburn wood. You can't unevaporate water. You can't reverse aging. Why not? It's not that the laws forbid it. It's that probability crushes it. The number of possible disordered states vastly outnumbers the ordered ones. Once you break something, the shattered pieces can rearrange in trillions of ways. The chance of them spontaneously reassembling into the original configuration is not zero, but it's so small that it will never happen in the lifetime of the universe. This is entropy. This is the second law of thermodynamics. This is the arrow of time. Not a law of motion, a law of probability. Time has a direction not because the universe forces it, but because chaos is simply more likely than order. You are aging. Your cells are accumulating damage. Your DNA is degrading. Your neurons are dying. Not because time is flowing and dragging you along, but because high-entropy states are overwhelmingly more probable than low-entropy ones. You are dissolving into randomness, slowly, inevitably, statistically, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Now bring it all together. The ancient Greeks looked up at the sky and wondered about time. They imagined it as circular, eternal return, the same moments repeating forever. Newton imagined it as absolute, a universal clock ticking in the background of reality, the same for everyone, everywhere. We measured light and discovered he was wrong. Time bends, time stretches. Time depends on motion and gravity. We studied entropy and discovered something darker. Time has a direction, because disorder wins. Always. We built theories of quantum mechanics and discovered something stranger still. At the smallest scales, cause and effect blur. Particles exist in superposition. The act of observation changes the outcome. The future affects the past. Each discovery led to another. Each answered question revealed deeper mysteries. This is how science works. Not through lone geniuses having perfect insights, but through accumulated observations, careful measurements, brutal honesty about what doesn't make sense, and a willingness to abandon intuition when evidence demands it. One generation measures the speed of light and finds it constant. The next generation asks what that means and discovers time is relative. The next generation asks what that means and discovers space-time itself is curved, warped by mass and energy. The next generation keeps pushing, keeps measuring, keeps finding new edges where understanding breaks down. It's an avalanche. Each truth reveals the terrain for the next truth. Each answer exposes new questions, and we are still in the middle of it. So what happens if time stops for 1 second? Nothing. Not nothing happens, but nothing in the most complete, most absolute, most final sense. No duration, no waiting, no freeze, no pause, no experience, no observation, no restart, just nothing. Because time is not a thing that can be stopped. Time is the condition that allows anything to happen at all. Remove time, and you remove change. Remove change, and you remove causality. Remove causality, and you remove existence as we understand it. The question itself is meaningless. Not because we're too stupid to answer it, but because it asks for something logically impossible. It's like asking, what happens if circles become squares while staying circles? The words fit together grammatically, but they don't correspond to anything real. And yet we asked the question. We explored the edges. We found where intuition collapses. And in doing so, we learned something true about the universe. Time is not what you thought it was. It's stranger. It's more flexible. It's more fundamental. It's not a river you float down. It's the structure that allows rivers to flow at all. It's not a dimension you move through. You are the movement. Your existence is change. Your consciousness is a sequence of states. Your memories are entropy made useful. You are time, temporarily organized, briefly coherent, inevitably dissolving. This should terrify you. Or maybe it should comfort you. Because it means you're not separate from the universe. You're not a passenger. You're not watching time pass. You are an eddy in the flow of causality. A pattern that maintains itself for a while and then dissipates. A local decrease in entropy, burning energy to stay organized, knowing, at some level, that it cannot last. Every thought you have, every memory you form, every decision you make, all of it requires time. All of it is time. The universe is not obligated to make sense to you. It doesn't care about your intuition. It doesn't care about what feels right. It simply is what it is, indifferent, mathematical, strange. The miracle is not that time behaves the way you expect. The miracle is that you can understand, even partially, even temporarily, how it actually works. The miracle is that you can ask a question as simple as, "What if time stopped?" and follow the logic far enough to discover that the question itself reveals the answer. Time cannot stop. Not for a second, not for any duration, because stopping is a change, and change is time. The universe won't let you. There's no edge to step over, no boundary to cross, no experiment to run. This is not negotiable. Sit with that for a moment. You exist in time. You are made of time. You cannot escape it. You cannot pause it. You cannot rewind it. You can only move forward at whatever rate gravity and motion allow, aging and changing and dissolving, until the patterns that make you finally fall apart. This is not a rule. This is how reality is built. And now you know.